What's up YouTube, it's your boy JP back at it again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about The Authority because since James Gunn's announced a bunch of TV shows and movies being made, Authority is part of it. Supergirl, Woman for Tomorrow was actually a really great read as well that I'll be looking into doing a review on. But if you want to see a review, definitely check out Jess's review. It's really cool. But yeah, that was a really good book as well. But today we're going to be looking into Authority, so I'll do a comparison of the Omnibus and the Absolutes, tell you what this collects, what the Omnibus collects that the Absolute doesn't collect, and stuff like that. Give you a comparison. That way, you know if you are interested in picking up this title, you know which one you should get. So let's take a look at the Absolutes first. That way you can see what they look like. So real quick, here's the front of Volume 1 right here, and here's the front of Volume 2. There you go. Let's see the spines together. Oh, there we go. This is a very old copy of mine. So here are the spines together. I have to show it like this. And then here you go. And then here is if you are a spine out type of person. There you go. And yeah, so the front and back of both of these are the same. So let's take a look at the Absolute of Volume 1 first. Real quick. So let's open this one up. There you go. You have the dust jacket right here. Here's the back of it. Here's the spine. And here's the front. Let me take off the dust jacket and you can see the spread page art. And then when you take off the dust jacket, the hardcover itself will just say Authority. Not much else here. There you go. So the Absolute Authority. And here's the dust jacket for the Absolute. There you go. Here's what it looks like. Really cool. All right, let's set that aside. And let me show you the Absolute Volume 2. So taking out the slipcase right here. There you go. Put that on the floor real quick. Here is the front. Here is the spine and the back. Let's take off the dust jacket. All right, so you have the authorities on the side as the Absolute Authority on the French flaps, and then you have right here, that's a pretty cool dust jacket for the Absolute. All right, and once again, it has just the Absolute Authority on the book itself, and pretty cool bookends, and these come with the ribbons as well. All right, so let's take a quick look at the Omnibus. This one should be getting a reprint because it's out of print for a while. Here's the Omnibus, here's the front, here is the spine, the Authority, and here is the back. There you go. So let me zoom in as well that you can see what it collects. I believe the Absolute only collects the Authority issues 1 through 29. It doesn't collect all these extras, and so like Planetary, the Authority Ruling the World, Authority Annual, Ginny Sparks, The Secret History of the Authority 1 through 5, and Story of Wildstorms, Summer Special number 1, and Wildstorm Celebration. All that is not in the Absolute, just the main story itself. Okay. All right, so let me take off the dust jacket. And then the actual hardcover for this one is really cool as well. All right. So here is the spread page. Very nice. So this kind of reminds me of the dust jacket of the, kind of similar. So the Absolute is this one, and this on the moon, and this one, I believe, they're somewhere else. But looks exactly the same. Angie's holding a gun instead of a baby this time. So almost, yeah, that's very similar. All right. Okay. All right, so that's the comparison of the Omnibus to the Absolute. So now let's jump into the story itself. So careful for spoilers if you never read it before. I'll give you a quick spoiler-free overview. Basically, is if you ever read The Boys or watched The Boys and stuff like that, It's kind of like that instead, but the superheroes are still superheroes. They're not villains, but they will do whatever it takes to defeat the villains. So you'll definitely see a lot of gore, a lot of action and stuff like that. They don't hold any punches. People will die. You know, they're not afraid to kill. They're not afraid to kill governors and stuff like that either. So they're not like the traditional Justice League and stuff like that where they try not to kill anybody and just try to put them back in prison. They kind of make jokes about that as well in the Authority. So this is what I would say is more realistic people with superpowers just living their everyday life, and they are not perfect people as well. They're not like Superman or Wonder Woman and stuff like that. They're everyday people, just trying to get their shit together, like drug addicts and stuff like that, and then just trying to save the world and make the world better, even though they have a lot of shit going on in their own. So that's a quick overview for those of you guys who are interested in it and don't want to get spoiled. So definitely, and then I will give this book a solid, I would say a solid 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun read. The first absolute, so the first half of the Authority is actually really good. The second half kind of went downhill for me personally, but the last arc of the Authority picked back up, and it was actually pretty interesting. I would say this is something that you can read cover to cover. The first absolute, and maybe take a few extra days to finish the second absolute. But I finished it both over the weekend, so it was really cool. All right, so that's the quick. There you go. That's a quick overview. Now we're gonna dive deeper into the story. I'll show you the comparisons of the artwork as well, stuff like that. That way you could get a better buying decision. All right, so let's open up the absolute on the Absolute Authority Volume 1. Let's take a look right here. All right, I want to open up to show you a page comparison. The absolutes compared to the omnibus. So here you go. All right, so this one, the absolute, I feel like is more glossy. The artwork, it does pop out more, in my opinion. Let's open up the omnibus real quick. So the omnibus is not as glossy. As you can tell, it's more of a matte finish. You don't really see the gloss or stuff like that as you turn the pages, when you can see the gloss right here as you turn the page. There you go. So there you go. More matte finish, more glossy finish. Here's the size of the art, if you can see. There we go. So there is a little bit bigger, so you can actually enjoy the artwork. In my opinion, I would pick up the absolutes if you want to just read the main story, because a lot of the scenes here, I would say, especially Day Day says, they're like very cinematic in a way. So so like there's some arcs in here that like look really cool, like really good spread pages, like this for example, really cool spread pages. Well, this isn't. Yeah, this is a spread page. You open it like this, you see the big ass ship. Yeah, so let's see what it looks like in the omnibus real quick as well. I haven't even read through this omnibus. I read through this omnibus just a little bit to see the extras, what it collects, and it doesn't. If you read the absolute, it doesn't really. You don't really miss out too much if you just pick up the absolute. So here's the spread page compared to the absolute. I feel like the absolute makes it look a little bit cooler in a way. All right, so yeah, so I think this absolute has 3 arcs. No, and second absolute has 3 arcs as well. I'm not gonna go over like the entire summary of all the story, but I'll give you my thoughts and impressions on it. I felt like it was really good. And this is something I would read. This is one I would read cover to cover. My favorite character is Jenny Sparks. She's really cool. So seeing what happened to her at the end made it really sad. So you also have Apollo. He kind of reminds me of Superman in a way. And then the engineer, the guy who controls the city. I forgot his name. Midnighter, the hot girl person, and the doctor. So they all have really interesting personalities and traits, which is really. And then Apollo's really fun because I never thought of it that way. Like, how Superman gets his power from the sun, right? Apollo's the same way. He gets all his massive strength and stuff like that from the sun. But once it turns into nighttime, he basically loses all his powers, or like he can only use the powers that he charged up, and then he has to wait for the next day. And I thought, huh, that's interesting. That would have been pretty cool if that happened as well with Superman, and then he's not as strong. Like, okay, the sun is gone, you can't really drain the get solar rays because the moon is out. So that was a pretty interesting take with the Apollo character. Midnighter was really cool as well, where he could like, I guess he's like really smart or something like, but he could replay anything, any fight in his head over 1,000,000 times and figure out the best scenario. So if you've read this before, definitely let me know, what is your favorite character? I mean, who is your favorite character and why? Each character is actually really, really interesting. The Doctor, man, the Doctor got pretty interesting on the second half of the story. The first half, it was okay. I feel like the first half of the story was more like Jenny Sparks, Midnighter, and Apollo, basically. Engineer is really cool too, but I feel like she picked back up on the second half as well. What else is there? Yeah. So here's the first, basically what the artwork and stuff like that of the first Absolute. I'm not gonna try and explain everything that way for those of you guys who haven't read this before. You can get your thoughts and your first experience as well. I just want to show you my opinions and stuff like that. And I didn't realize the artwork, it looked pretty modern. So I was like, okay, cool. I thought it was going to be an older story, but I never even opened it up. I always had it on my shelf for so long, and I never read it. And then, this last arc is actually, I think this last arc is my favorite arc because, like, this is a planet that's coming back, or not a planet, like a civilization, planet that's coming back to eat the Earth. It's apparently supposed to be God, because it created the Earth and stuff like that. Now it's coming back to, like, the humans are basically infestations, and this God is coming back to cleanse the Earth to make it clean again. And now, what's funny is that the humans, which is like these characters right here, the Authority, are going into God being an infestation and trying to blow it up from within. So that was a pretty interesting arc as well. And all these are like their white blood cells, antibodies and stuff like that. So really fun read. I would highly recommend the first Absolute. If you're trying to figure out if you feel like you're gonna be a huge fan of this one, I would pick up the Omnibus, because with the first half, Jenny Sparks actually dies because after the 20th century is over, she dies. And in the Omnibus, you get 5 more issues of Jenny Sparks' backstory, of the Authority, like how she put the team together, and it was pretty touching, the five issues, because at the end of the 5th issue, you get to see her gravestone and like all the memories looking back of her adventures and stuff like that, which is really cool. All right, and then with the Authority Absolute, you get all these extra pages right here, as you can see. So basically the script, and behind it a little bit is the what's it called? The sketches and stuff like that. So that's really neat. Afterwards, and a little bit of the cover. All right, so that's Absolute number 1. All right, so let's take a look at Absolute number 2 real quick. So for Absolute number 2, I felt like the story fell off a little bit. In my opinion, it didn't hook me as much as the first one did. However, I believe in the last half of basically the last arc of the Authority is basically, it kind of reminds me of like the Dark Avengers. You know how there was an evil Captain America and stuff like, not evil Captain America, but the Green Goblin took over the Avengers, and they had like knockoff Avenger characters. That's what it is with the Authority as well. So the main Authority people got defeated, and they made a new authority team because the politicians wanted to. The authority were basically trying to like make sure everybody's being good and stuff like that, and politicians are like, no, we need to keep on making money. We're gonna hire all these assassins to take the authority out, and they basically instilled another authority. So that was a really good arc, really good story. All right. So yeah, this is around like this half right here where you can see the knockoff authorities and stuff like that, like the knockoff Midnighter and stuff like that. So there you go. And let's see, skip to the end to see if there's any extras back here. So here's the bookend. So you also get the cover art, cover gallery right here. Take a look at that. Yeah, a lot of different cover art compared to, oh yeah, the pinups compared to the first one. So there you go. Here's the pinup gallery. Here's the end. The ending was actually really sweet as well. I liked it. And then here we go. Let's go back to the Omnibus and see what the extras you have. So basically, I believe it was, yeah, so right here this is the first half of the Absolute Volume 1. And then this is the secret histories of Jenny Sparks, so you can see more of her character. This was really cool with the doctor. She's trying to recruit the doctor, but he doesn't want to use her power, so she was like, okay, I'm just going to shoot myself in the brain. And she basically committed suicide to force him to use his powers to heal her back up to life. So that was really crazy. Like, okay, this is, because I was going to skip these extras, but a lot of the extras were really good. Yeah, so that's part of it. So that you won't get that in the Absolute. There's also, what's it called? The power. Yeah, the transfer of power. This is the 5 issues of basically reading, what's it called? The evil authorities. So you know how the authority got defeated by the politicians and their recruitment of superheroes. So this is 5 issues of basically what the nutcase authorities are up to. And it's kind of funny because both authority, the superhero ones and the supervillain ones, are both nutcases. So it's really cool. So there you go. And so let's move on to the back and see what extras there are. So this is the bonus section for the Omnibus. So in Omnibus, you do get more cover art. So if you want like the complete everything, all the tie-ins, I feel like there wasn't really any tie-ins that were like something that you could skip, or like not. There weren't tie-ins where it felt like filler, basically. So all the tie-ins made sense. It flowed pretty well with the story. It's something I wouldn't skip, or I would continue to read, because when I read a lot of Marvel books and stuff like that, you know how Kingdom Black and all these other ones, they have so much tie-ins. I usually skip it because like I just want to read the main story. But for the Authority, I actually didn't mind the tie-ins because there wasn't an overwhelming amount. There was only like maybe 10, 12 tie-ins compared to like the 30 or 40 tie-ins from like a Marvel event. So, and it all flowed really well with the story. So you want the complete everything, like from start to finish, I would highly recommend picking the Omnibus. And I believe it should be getting reprinted very soon. Maybe give it a 5 or 6 months or so if you're watching this video at this point in time. Because there was an announcement that they're going to keep all these titles evergreen and they will be reprinting them. But right now, if you're just in a rush to read the story and you don't care for the tie-ins and the extra content, pick up the Absolutes, because Absolutes are really cool as well. I would actually pick, if it was me and if you didn't have any budget restraints, I would pick up the Absolutes for the main story, because the oversized artwork and the glossiness looks really great. And then just finish off the fillers with the Omnibus. So if that was me, if money wasn't a problem. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick review of the Authority. Hopefully you guys are interested in picking this one up. I would definitely highly recommend reading this one. It was a really fun read, something different, like not like one of the superheroes like, yo, and we gotta save everybody and make sure we don't kill anybody. This one is really cool. It doesn't really matter. It's like, I'm gonna kill whoever I can as long as I get to save the world. That was really awesome. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about this one. How would you rate it? What would you compare it with? And stuff like that. And I'll see you in the next video.